In the previous video, we created the InsuranceService.xsd. We did this by combining the insurance request and insurance response.xsd documents that we originally converted from XML with the help of IntelliJ. Now that our InsuranceService.xsd is completed, we can start with manually generating our whistle file with the help of IntelliJ. At this stage, we only need the InsuranceService.xsd document, so we can start by removing all the other XML and XSD documents that we've created along the way. Now that what's left is InsuranceService.xsd, we can start with manually generating our whistle file with the help of IntelliJ. We will start with our whistle definitions. We will be using the same namespaces that we used in InsuranceService.xsd. We will define a whistle and SOAP namespace. We'll change this to our schema namespace. And of course, we also need a target namespace for Spring WS Insurance. That concludes our whistle definitions tag. Now we're ready to define our whistle types. The whistle types that we will use are all defined in our InsuranceService.xsd, so we will cut and paste them. We'll also write some comments as we go along so that we have a better insight into our whistle document structure. Let's do that again. That is all the whistle types we will be using. Just doing some cleanup. The next step is to define our SOAP message type, which in our case we know is the insurance request and insurance response messages. We define the whistle part element. That concludes the message definition, so let's make some space for the remainder. The next step is to define the insurance service port type. The port will contain the whistle operation of type insurance, or rather the whistle operation of name insurance will have the message insurance request as input and the insurance response message as output. We will use our target namespace. That concludes the definition of our insurance service port type. Next up, we define our insurance service binding, and our binding is going to be SOAP version 1.1, so we will indicate that in our binding name. Let's make some more space here. Here we define the document literal style, which in our case is SOAP over HTTP. Next we define the whistle operation. Inside of the whistle operation, we are defining our SOAP operation, our whistle input, and our whistle output. Next up, our whistle input and output. We use the literal body style as we've defined in our binding. Finally, we will be defining our whistle service. We have to bind it to our port. Now we've bound our service to our port. The final step is defining the URL of our SOAP endpoint. We will start by running it on localhost. And that concludes our manual whistle generation. In our next video, we will have a look at starting to generate the actual Spring SOAP service from the basis of Maven. And this concludes our manual whistle generation video.